Hello and welcome to Chapter 2 of The Coin. I'm Kevin Masterson. I'll be doing your reading today. Remember, you can buy a copy of the book and read along with us. It's really fun. There's a little link in the description. Make sure you buy a copy today. And without further ado, The Coin, Chapter 2. Chapter 2. The drunk restaurant customer who was at the restaurant where Jake works was sitting at the bar drinking the drink he ordered for himself. He wasn't as drunk as he was earlier when he was at the restaurant. He sobered up a bit, but he's at the bar back at it again. Before long, a beautiful young lady, by her lonesome, came and sat next to him at the bar. The drunk restaurant customer looked over and responded by saying,
"Hello, sweetheart. How are you?"
"I'm fine."
You're a very beautiful lady.
"Thank you."
May I ask your name?"
"Sure, it's Shelley. What's yours?"
"I'm Joe. Do you come here often?"
"Not often, but sometimes off and on."
Can I offer to buy you a drink?"
"Oh, thank you, but I got it covered. But thanks anyway."
Ah, no, come on, I insist. It would be my pleasure.
Okay, if you insist, that will be fine. I would like to have a margarita." Joe ordered her drink and another round for himself. The music was playing on the jukebox. A fast song came on that they both liked.
Do you want to dance?
Of course, yes. They laughed, danced as the night went on. They were having a good time, laughing, talking, drinking, dancing, and just enjoying each other's company. The night was over, then Shelley and Joe made a bond with one another. Joe invited Shelley over to his house. She said, "Okay, where do you stay?" He said,
"Pacific Palisades."
They both were not driving that day because they knew they would be out drinking, and when all is said and done, they would have to call a taxi to get home. They caught a taxi and went to his house. They arrived at his house. They paid the driver while still in the car, got out of the car talking out aloud. And sleeping on the back porch of Joe's house was Jake waiting on him. They went inside the house, Joe and Shelley. "You have a nice home."
"Thanks. You can have a seat anywhere you wish."
Shelley sat down on the sofa.
"Would you like to have a drink?"
"Yes."
"Good."
Joe suggested to Shelley that she can put a CD on in the stereo. Shelley replied, "Okay." At that time, Joe went into his kitchen to fix the drinks, and Shelley was sitting in the living room. She got up, walked to the stereo, and found something she liked, put it on, and started dancing by herself to the music, passing time until Joe come back with the drinks. While Joe was fixing the drinks in his kitchen, the noise of Joe fixing the drinks and the music playing on the stereo awakened Jake, who was snoozing on Joe's back porch. He sat up and started listening, and in his shoulder bag was all kinds of weapons. Jake got up very quietly, walked to the kitchen window and quietly looked in. He saw Joe in the kitchen fixing drinks, and at that time, he walked to the back door very quietly and carefully picked the back door lock. Very quietly and carefully, he got inside the house and was standing in the back of Joe. Joe sensed something behind him and turned around, and Jake grabbed his hair, pulled it up, and cut his head off, stuck it in a plastic bag, and put it in his shoulder bag and walked out of the back door of the house and was long gone. The volume of the music was so loud, it drowned out what was going on in the kitchen. Shelley danced through 2 songs and was getting ready to play another one. So she started to wonder what was taking Joe so long to fix the drinks. She called his name out aloud. "Joe, Joe, what's the holdup?" She repeated calling his name to no avail. She went to the kitchen, opened the swinging doors, and discovered Joe bleeding profusely on the floor, dead without his head. She was so hysterical, she just kept running until she came somewhat to her senses, and went and knocked on a neighbor's door, screaming, "Help, help," etc. The door opened. The man answered, saying, "What's wrong?" Shelley said my friend was just killed. Neighbor.
Where and who is your friend? Are you okay? Calm down, come in and have a seat.
His house is 4 houses down, I think, and he is in his kitchen on the floor. His head is cut off and his body is lying on the kitchen floor.
Oh my God, are you sure? What's your name?
My name is Shelley. Yes, I'm sure.
Well, let me call the police.
Good. She's still very scared and hysterical. Thank you. The police were called. They arrived at the gentleman's house where Shelley wound up at running to for help. The police talked with the gentleman and Shelley, got all of the information they needed to get. They proceeded to go and locate Joe's house with Shelley's directions, even though she was still shook up. Together, they located where Joe's house was, and they went in and started investigating. The crime lab and the coroner were called in also. They talked with Shelley and they released her, but told her not to leave town because they might have some more questions for her. In the meantime, across town, Jake was on his way to find an isolated location where he would keep his bag and remains at. He found one. That's where he put his stuff and buried the head as a souvenir. Then on the way home, he was still not his real self, but he goes to where he lives and he uses the bathroom, takes his clothes off, and goes to bed. Wakes up the next morning, not remembering anything that happened the night before. He's a bachelor, lives by himself. He was getting ready for work and was cleaning his pockets out of the pants he wore yesterday and got his loose change, but he remembers everything in being his real self. He smiled when he saw the bent quarter and he decided just to carry it and keep it in his pocket and don't spend it. For as long as he kept that quarter, it never, while he had it in his hand or in his pocket or sitting it anywhere else, it never moved around again. The reason the coin didn't move anymore is because a demonic spirit attacked the coin while in the register at the coffee shop and disfigured it while stored inside the register. Inside the coin was put a demonic spell on the coin that the first person to hold it will receive the curse from the coin into the person who holds it in their possession for a certain length of time, and it was Jake, not the cashier, because she just picked it up and handed it to him. She didn't hold it long enough. The reason for the coin shaking is that it was releasing evil spirits into the person who was holding it for a while, which was Jake. After it has released the evil spirits, it will stay in Jake until someone can find out the truth about why he's doing what he's doing, and if so, he would need an exorcist for being possessed. If they don't find out the truth about what's going on with him, doing these type of crimes, someone in the law enforcement agency would have to shoot him with some silver bullets until he is dead. And the demons would leave, because that is the protocol of a person doing those type of crimes in the eyesight of law enforcement agencies. Thank you very much. This has been Chapter 2 of The Coin. Remember to like and subscribe. We appreciate you watching. And remember, buy your own copy of The Coin on Amazon today. Jake had a specially made sword and other different tools to do his killings, and other special made tools for everything else. It was dusk dark.
Kevin.
Kevin.